হ্যালো, ওয়েলকাম টু ভিশন টু উইজডম। নমস্কার, ভিশন টু উইজডম চ্যানেলে আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগতম জানাচ্ছি। এই চ্যানেলটি শুধুমাত্র একটি ইউটিউব চ্যানেল নয়, ইটস এ লার্নিং জার্নি where your vision will turn into wisdom. Here, specifically, we decode subjects like general studies, geography, current affairs, general knowledge, etc. And state civil services জন্য দরকারি সব টিপস একদম সহজ ভাষায়। So, if you are a dreamer, a learner, আর যদি আপনি নিজের ভবিষ্যৎ গড়তে চান, then this is your digital platform. This is your digital classroom. সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন, পাশে থাকুন, আর জ্ঞান অর্জনের এই যাত্রা আমাদের সঙ্গ দিন। লেটস গ্রো টুগেদার ফ্রম vision to wisdom.
So guys, let's start with our today's video, and the today's video's topic is specifically the articles which are most repeatedly asked in your examination. Okay, so see, so important articles from them, the article 1 of the constitution. So before starting that particular article and all that things, let's first of all let's know something about little bit about articles of the constitution. So article specifically I'm talking about the Indian constitution. Indian constitution, they have part, schedule, and articles. Okay, so see, in Indian constitution there are 12 parts, 25 schedule, and 395 article. Okay, this is originally means when the constitution was passed, in that time the article of the constitution was 395. Okay, now currently there are 470 articles. Okay, now that 470 articles means what? It comes due to the amendments. Okay, so this is the basic thing. So now let's get back to the first slide, that is our important articles. Okay, so see, first article 1. So it tells about us the name and union territories, the name and territories of the union. Okay, it specifically tells us the names, what are the names of the states and union territories. Okay, so this is the first number 1 article. Okay, remaining things you can see from the particular document, and don't worry guys, I will share this document with you. So then article 3 of the constitution tells us, suppose in anything new area. Okay, India government occupied. Okay, this is also mentioned in article 3. And suppose Indian government try to bifurcate any states into 2 new states. Okay, so this can be possible with the help of this article 3. Okay, so the C authorizes the parliament for creation of new states, and as well as changes to the names, boundaries, and territories of existing states. Okay, so this is comes under article 3. Whatever changes you can come up with in article 3, there should be required president's prior recommendations. Okay, so this is the thing. So now most important article 11. So it tells us about the citizenship. Okay, right to citizenship means regulation of the rights of citizenship. There is the only one authority responsible, that is your parliament. State government cannot bring anything changes in the citizenship act. Okay, now see, then most important article is article 13. So it allows that inconsistent with or in derogative of any the fundamental rights shall be violated. Means ultimately it tells us, suppose anything which come clash with the fundamental right, okay, in our constitution or any new law, that things will be squashed. Means fundamental right will be prevail over that law. Okay, nothing can be superior than the fundamental right. So these things tells us that article 13. Okay, now comes with fundamental rights. So in fundamental rights, you already know there are 6 fundamental rights. What are 6? Right to equality, it starts from 14 to 18. Then right to freedom, 19 to 22. Okay, then right against exploitation, it comes in article 23 to 24. And then right freedom of religion, okay, it comes under article 25 to 28. And cultural and educational rights, it comes in 29 to article 30. Then rights of constitutional remedies, that is your article 32. Okay, so these are the 6 fundamental rights. Okay, so now let's dig into deeper. Okay, so let's try. Now see, in first and fundamental right to equality from 14 to 18, article 14, it says about the equality before law. Okay, that means nothing can more important Okay, suppose there are one in one hand there is a victim, or suppose a culprit of a rickshawala. Okay, and another side there was a victim or as a culprit as a suppose a big rich man. Okay, so that Article 14 says that nothing in the eye of the law, all the both the parties are equal. So we cannot judge on the basis of their wealth, on the basis of their status. The law is cannot judge on these things. Okay, so particularly this article says that all the citizens of the India, okay, not India, out of India also, all the things, all the peoples comes are equal in front of that eyes of the law. So equality before law tells us about these things. Okay, equality before law. That means law can be applied equally on both. Okay, this is the main important thing related to Article 14. And Article 15 tells us that prohibition. Okay, which prohibition? It prohibits the laws. Okay, created by the state authority or any parliament or any executives. Okay, of discrimination on there are 5 grounds. Okay, means states cannot prohibit or discriminate on the basis of these 5 grounds. What are these 5 grounds? Race, caste, sex, place of birth. So these are the 5 grounds. Okay, religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. So these are the 5 grounds on which states cannot prohibit or state cannot discriminate any people. So this is the Article 15. In Article 16, it tells us the equality of opportunity. Okay, on the matters of public employment. That means in giving of public employment, providing public employment by the states. Okay, they cannot discriminate the peoples on the basis of race, caste, sex, place of birth, descent. Okay, state cannot delicately prohibits or discriminate. So this is the thing related to Article 16. Now Article 17 tells us the untouchability. Untouchability, abolition of untouchability. There will be no untouchability in the Indian continent. Okay. Next, Article 18 tells us abolition of titles. So this article specifically tells that no one can bring any other titles and show up in their name and all the things. You cannot use these titles. Suppose in case of the pre-independent India, so there are many people they can earn these titles and they show off their titles as a prefix or as a postfix in their names. So you cannot do this after this independence of India. Means now you cannot do this prefix and postfix in your name. Okay, but there is some relaxation which can tells us that the educational things. Suppose doctor, they can bring this in front of their names. So Article 19 tells us what guaranteed. Article 19 it specifically tells us the right to freedom. Okay, right to freedom on 6 rights. Okay, which 6 rights? See, Article 19 clause A. It tells us freedom of speech, then freedom of assemble, then freedom of association, then freedom of freely movement throughout the territory, then reside in and settle, then practice and profess or any carry of occupation. So there are 6 rights which guarantees by that Article 19. So freedom of speech also there, then freedom of speech, then assemble, then association, and then movement throughout the country, then reside any part of the country, then you can do anything in any part of the country. Okay, that is your occupational related things. Okay, so this is related to your Article 19. Now Article 20. Article 20 tells us protection in respect of conviction for offences. See, there is an important question. Let me frame that question. Which articles of the Constitution cannot be suspended during the national emergency? So the answer will be Article 20 and Article 21. So what article? That's why Article 20 and Article 21 is very much important from our fundamental right perspectives. Okay. What it tells? Article 20 tells about the protection in respect of conviction for offences. Means no ex post facto law, no double jeopardy, no self-incrimination. Ultimately, what it implies? It says that ultimately no one can convict you for the same crime, or double, or same time, or double time. You can say that is your jeopardy. So this is the important thing related to that Article 20. Then Article 21. So Article 21 specifically tells us protection of life. Okay, or right to liberty. So that article tells us about the right of life specifically. Okay, and this is very much important, guys. Article 21 gives us the basic right of our life. Okay, so if you do not have the independency of right to life, then how can you will be flourish in the independent India? So this is for that perspective, it is very much important. Okay, so then Article 21A, it tells us the elementary education. Okay, state shall offer free and compulsory, okay, compulsory education to all children aged 6 to 14. So this is the elementary education thing. So, and this is comes in which amendment act? This comes in 86th amendment act and 2002. This is also come in which amendment act this article was added. See guys, when you see that particular capital letter comes with any article, so that implies particularly that this is article, this is the amended article. Okay, means after the constitution passed, that provision is added later. Okay, so this is the implications of that particular capital letter. Okay, now article 22, that is tells about protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Okay, so now next article 23. So article 23 is prohibits traffic of human, means human trafficking. So human trafficking also prohibits by the fundamental rights. Okay, then article 24, prohibition of employment. Specifically, it restricts the children to doing their job in particular hazardous factories. Okay, later on, that Supreme Court of India also gives these verdicts and tells that below 14, no children can do any work, any in any organization, whether it is hotel or whether it is normal restaurant. Okay, so no job for below 18 students, below 18 children's. Okay, so this is prohibition of employment of children under age of 14 in factories and mines. Okay, and then article 25, article 25, article 26, article 27 and article 28, all four articles tells about your religion. Okay, right, related to your religion. So this is the important things. Now article 29 and article 30. Article 29 tells about the protection of interests of minorities. Okay, and article 30 tells us the minorities establishment of administration of educational institution, means they can also establish their institution and through which they can give their teachings to their upcoming generation. Okay, so this is the important things related to article 30. And article 32, this is very much important, article 32. Okay, so article 32, it tells us, it gives us rights, remedies. Okay, remedies for enforcement of the fundamental rights. Okay, that is nothing but your constitutional remedies comes under article 32, and that article 32 specifically tells us what, that Supreme Court had the rights if someone breach or if something breach your fundamental rights. So in our Indian continent, what is there, suppose some crime is happened to you or something happened to you, so you firstly go to the district courts, then you have to go to the high courts, then your Supreme Court comes. So there is a hierarchy you have to follow. But in case of breach a fundamental right, without going to that particular subordinate courts, you directly go to the Supreme Court. So this is the privilege you got from that article 32. And for restoration of your article for restoration of your fundamental rights, Supreme Court can issue writs. Okay, see, now we started article 39. Our fundamental rights is completed. Now we entered into particularly DPSP. DPSP specifically tells us the directives, principles of state policies. Okay, so it specifically tells the states what to do for the welfare of the peoples of the society. So this is for the DPSP. So here article 39A, it tells about equal justice and free and legal aid. Okay, then article 40 tells about organization of village panchayat. Then article 44, it tells about uniform civil code. Article 45 directed the states, okay, for their early childhood care for below the age of 6. 50, separation of judiciary, means separation of judiciary from the executives. Okay, then article 51, promotion of internal peace and security. So that's all about the DPSP. Okay, now in fundamental duties. So fundamental duty, how many fundamental duties are there? There total 11 fundamental duties are there in article 51 clause, 51A. Okay, so 51A, earlier there was 10 fundamental duties, but later on 86th of amendment act 2002, that becomes 11. Okay, then article 52, it tells about your president of India. Okay, article 53 is executive power of the union. Okay, article 54, election of the president, the procedure. Okay, the procedure of election of the president. And article 61, what it tells, article 61 tells procedure for impeachment of the president. See, impeachment means removal of the president from his post. Okay, so article 60 gives the oath of the president. Okay, it tells about the oath of the president, and Article 61 tells about the impeachment procedure of the president. Article 63 tells about the vice president of India, and 63 is tells about the vice president of India, and 64 tells about the that vice president to be an ex officio chairman of the Council of States. Council of States, that means your Rajya Sabha. Okay, there are two houses in the parliament, that is your Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha is also known as lower house, and Rajya Sabha is also known as Council of States, or we can say upper house. Okay, so who will be presiding that house is nothing but your vice president, and ex officio chairman means for, for that post, means for the chairman of Lok Sabha, that is the post na. So for that post there is no extra procedure for selection and all that. Who will be the president, vice president of India? They will, then that person automatically will be the position in that chairman. So this is the meaning of ex officio, ex officio. Okay, now Article 66, it tells about the election procedure of vice president. Then 72, it's giving the pardoning power of the president. Pardoning power. So president have some pardoning power related to the verdicts given by the Supreme Court. Okay, so only president have that particular, not president, I can say in governor also in case of states, but president have the pardoning power related to that certain cases. Okay. Article 74 tells about the Council of Ministers, COM, of COM to aid and advice to the president. So COM specifically gives any aid and advice to the president. Now Article 76, it tells about the Attorney General of India. Article 78 tells about the duties of PM. Now we entered into the PM. Now we entered in parliamentary article related to. Now Article 79 tells about your parliament. Constitution of Parliament means what? You have to build a parliament. Which article tells? That is your 79. Article 80, it tells about the composition of the Rajya Sabha. Article 81, it tells about the composition of Lok Sabha. Then Article 89 tells about the duration of houses of the parliament. Okay. Next, Article 93. What Article 93? It tells the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House of the People. That means House of the People also, guys, known as the another name of the Lok Sabha. Okay, don't be confused about that. So House of the People means what? The Lok Sabha. So who will be the Speaker and who will be the Deputy Speaker of the House? Which article tells? That is your Article 90. Okay. Then Article 105. It tells about the power, privileges, etc. Okay, etc. of the House of Parliament, means power and privileges. Okay, enjoyed by the members of the parliament. So this, which article tells about these things? That Article 105. Then Article 108, joint sitting of both the houses. Joint sitting means Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha come together and discuss on a particular issue or a particular bill. Okay, so that sitting is known as joint sitting, and that comes under Article 108. Then Article 109, it tells about the special procedure in respect of money bills. Okay, so related to the money bills procedure, which article tells you? Article 109. Okay, see guys, for that particular term, whatever I am little bit discussing, okay, there will be dedicated class for that particular each and every topic. Okay, but today we are just going through the important articles from the polity perspective. Okay, and this is nothing but your MCQ specific. Okay, on the basis of you, as we already discussed what our strategy and all that things now. So that's why we are just discussing the articles, not discussion what is the article and what that article says, the specific things we are discussing currently. So ultimately I am telling there will be a dedicated class after completion of this series. Okay, related to the polity, not only polity, each and every subjects you find in our channel. Okay, so there will be dedicated playlist also which completing all these subjects at once, so you cannot go anywhere. Here you come, so you can complete your whole preparation from our channel. So this is the motto of this channel. Okay, so let's back to the study. So Article 109 tells us the procedure, okay, related to your money bills. Then Article 10110, that gives the money bills, definition of money bills, or we can say money bills. Which article tells about the money bills? That is your 110, and procedure for money bills, it's your 109. Okay, don't be confused. Then Article 112, it tells about the annual financial budget, annual financial statement. So guys, in our constitution, nowhere you find or mention that particular term budget. So Article 112 specifically tells about the annual financial statements. Okay, which is nothing but your budget. Then 114, its appropriation bills. Okay, then 1, 2, 3. This is nothing but the ordinance power of the president. So ordinance power of the president comes under 1, 2, 3. Then 1 to 4 established of Supreme Court. The Supreme Court related article, which is article tells about Supreme Court. That is the article number 1 to 4. 1 to 9. But the Supreme Court to be record of all courts. Okay, that means whatever case, whatever verdict gives the Supreme Court on each and every matters, that will be the record for all subordinate courts. Okay, these things explaining in that particular 130 or 129 article. Okay, then 130 is seat of Supreme Court. Then 136 it's special leaves for an appeal to Supreme Court. Then 137 it gives us the review of judgment orders by the, that is nothing but your judicial review. Okay, judgment, which means suppose any judgment or any verdict already given by the Supreme Court or any court, so that judgment or that verdict can be reviewed by the Supreme Court. So that power comes under article 137. Then article 141 it gives what, decision of the Supreme Court binding to all the courts, means it implies that Supreme Court is the authority, or Supreme Court is the supreme authority in the court system, court hierarchy. So if Supreme Court gives any verdict on any particular issue, no any other court can challenge these things. Okay, so ultimately Supreme Court is the supreme authority. Tells us which article? That article 141. Then 143, power of the president to consult with Supreme Court. That is nothing but the aid and advice given by the Supreme Court to the president. Okay, so article 148, that is your CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Okay, then 149 is nothing but the duties of and power of CAG. 153 is Governor of States. Now we are entering into states. 154 it's executive power of the governor. 155 appointment of the governor. 161 pardoning power of the governor. Okay, so we already discussed the pardoning power of president. Here the pardoning power of governor is article 161. 163 is council ministers of the states, particularly aid and advice, giving aid and advice to the governor. So then it is article 163. Then what tells about article 165? Advocate General of State. Now article 167 it tells about the chief minister, duties of chief minister. 167. Then article 168 constitution of legislature in the states. So legislature related constitution tells about your article 168. 169 abolition and creation of legislative councils. See guys, legislative council. So you already know in parliament there are Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and your president. Okay, these three composed your parliament. But in case of states there are legislative assemblies, governor. Okay, governor. Now some states have legislative council also. Okay, that legislative councils played the role as a Rajya Sabha plays. Okay, so this is lower house, this is your upper house in case of states. But in case of Tripura, there is no legislative council. There is only legislative assembly and your governor. Okay, so now article 170 composition of legislative assemblies in states. And then article 171 composition of legislative council. Okay, now that's it. Then article 178 it tells about the speaker and deputy speaker of the legislative assembly. See guys, this is similar to the union, just we completed the union articles now, the post and responsibility of different positions. So this is similar to that only. Okay, so article 178 related to speaker and deputy speaker of the legislative assembly. Article 194 related to your power and privileges and immunity, okay, enjoyed by the advocate general. Then article 200 is assent to bills by the governor. Okay, then 202 is your actual financial statements of the state legislature. Okay, then article 213 it's the power of governor related to what power? Ordinance power. The ordinance power of governor is 213 and ordinance power of president is 123. Don't forget this. So then comes your article 214 related to your high court. Then article 215 high courts to be a record for your subordinate courts. Okay, then article 226 power of high courts to issue certain writs. Under article 32 Supreme Court had the rights to issue writs, but article 226 gives the power to high court also to issue writs. Then article 233 appointment of district judges. Then Article 239 AA gives the special provision and with respect to Delhi. Special provision with respect to Delhi. Article 239 AB provisions in case of failure of constitutional machinery. Okay, and then Article 241 gives the High Court for Union Territory. Okay, so now this is just stay with us for 5 minutes more. We completed. Almost we completed. Okay, almost we completed that article. Start from 243 to 243O. It tells about the panchayats. Okay, Article 243A gives us the Gram Sabha. Article 243B gives us constitution of panchayat. Then municipalities is Article 243P to 243ZZ. Article 249 power of the parliament to legislate with respect to a matters of state list in a national interest. So ultimately what it tells, see, there are three lists in our constitution in 7th schedule. There are three lists. One is central list, then state list, and then concurrent list. Means subjects matter on which subject state can make law, central can make law. In 7th schedule of the constitution you find these things. So in central list you find the subjects matters on which centers can solely make the laws where state cannot enter, and in state list you find the state list specifically the subjects on which state can solely make laws. Okay, and concurrent list means these are the subjects where state and center both can make laws. Okay, but this article 249 it tells on state list, state not having that sole authority. Ultimately if there is anything come related to your national interest, then in that particular things central can also intervene. Means central can also intervene and make laws on that particular state list subject. Okay, this is the thing. So that 249 tells about your power of parliament, which can give the power of the parliament to legislate any law in state list also for the national interest. Okay, now 262 adjourning dispute relating to water, or we can say interstate rivers, interstate valleys. Means if there is any case related to state, so that things will be taken care by the article 262. Any case, okay, any conflict arise between two states, so that thing will be considered by article 262. Then article 263 provision with respect to an interstate council. So interstate council, for interstate council, the article is 263. Article 266 consolidated fund of India and public interest funds, means CF, consolidated fund. And then article 269 it's your contingency fund, CFI, contingency fund. So there are also funds. See, this is a specific class for the funds also. So little bit understanding about the funds. Funds means what? Means Indian government, means government of India. That is specifically I am talking about central government. Central government. See, government have some earnings and have some expenditures. So in that case, in which compartment and which and where government save their money, so there are some funds. Okay, so these are the funds: contingency fund of India, consolidated fund of India. So contingency funds are those funds there the funds are stored for in any natural calamities or any emergency case. Suppose in any emergency case the funds required, and that funds will be released from that CFI, contingency fund of India. So this is the fund where there is a certain requirement related to in any emergency case. So in that particular case, the funds, if there is a scarcity of funds, that funds will be released from that CFI. But in case of consolidated fund, so this is the normal fund where all the earnings stores, and for expenditure cases that money will be withdrawn from that fund. So this is the thing. Now article 275 it gives us the grants. Okay, then article 338 National Commission for NCPC, National Commission for Scheduled Caste, 338A National Commission for Scheduled Tribe. Okay, then 280 it gives us Finance Commission, then 300A right to property, then 312 All India Services. Article 315 tells about the Public Service Commission for the Union and States, that is your UPSC for in case of state union and TPSC in case of state. Okay, article 320 functions of Public Service Commission. Article 323A it's nothing but your administrative tribunals. Okay, then article 324 it gives about Election Commission, it talks about the Election Commission. Then article 330 reservation of seats for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in the House of People. Okay, then article 343 official language of the Union. Article 351, directive for development of the Hindi languages. Okay, for development of the Hindi languages. Article 352 gives what? See, these articles talks about your national emergency. Then Article 356 talks about your president rule. Then Article 360 your financial emergency. Then Article 361 protection of presidents and governors. Then Article 365 effects of failure to comply with or to give effect to the direction given by the union. That means it is nothing but ultimately implication or implement of president rule in any state. Recently Manipur comes under the president rule. So suppose central gives the direction to any state to do a certain work, but that direction is not followed by that state machinery. State machinery, I am talking about that particular party which is ruling in that particular state. So that legislative assembly will be dissolved if the direction is not followed by that particular state assembly, okay, given by the center. So in that case, Article 360, 356 will be implemented and president rule will be implemented. Now, most important article, that is your Article 368, it gives the power to the parliament to amend the constitution. Okay, so that's all guys. So we already almost complete the important articles related to constitution. So there are certain more, so you can complete it by your own. So I am sharing these documents with you guys, okay, in the Telegram channel. Link of the Telegram channel in the description box also. You can join and download the documents from there. Okay, so that's all. Thank you guys.